This coin is worth $10 million. The first US dollar was made back in 1794, and all of the existing pieces today are worth good money, even in bad shape. But there is a special one that sold for $10 million in 2013. One graded special 66, meaning it was a special strike coin in a mint state, 66 out of 70 on the grading scale. Truly a one-of-a-kind coin. This coin is worth $250,000, and you can still find it in your change. In 2019, a Massachusetts kid found a 1943 wheat cent in his lunch money, which later sold for over $200,000. But why is this penny worth so much? The penny is actually an error that was never supposed to exist, and very few were accidentally made. You see, during World War II, the US was using copper for the war to make bullets and other items. In 1943, they changed pennies to be made out of steel, but it's estimated that around 40 of them were made in copper. They're worth tons of money today, and there are still some out there, which is why you should check your change. Did you know that George Washington stole his wife's silverware to strike some of the first US coinage? Back in 1792, when the US was starting to make lots of coinage for circulation, the first and only coin made that year was the 1792 half disme, a 5-cent piece smaller than the modern dime, which kicked off the 1792 Coinage Act. Only 60,000 were made at the time. When you are asked what's the smallest denomination, you'll probably think it's a penny or the 1-cent coin, but that's wrong. From 1793 to 1857, the US Mint struck half cents, and they were probably the smallest denomination in US history. At the time, the copper coin was nearly the size of a quarter and had Lady Liberty on it. If you thought that denomination was weird, they also struck 2-cent, 3-cent, and 20-cent coins as well. This is a modern penny. It weighs about 2.5 grams, and this is a penny from over 200 years ago. It weighs over 10.9 grams. Believe it or not, this is real. Back then, the penny used to be much bigger because copper was worth significantly less. This is physical proof of inflation. It is not just a penny that was bigger back then. Every silver coin was slightly bigger too, and there used to be the half cent that was a little smaller than a quarter. This is a dime. The smallest US coin. Or is it? Back in the late 1700s up to 1873, the US Mint made a coin that was quite a bit smaller than the dime, the half dime. It represented the nickel's value, but instead of being made of nickel, it was made of silver. But what if I told you that was not even the smallest US coin? The 3-cent silver piece is a little bit smaller than the half dime and represents a value of 3 cents in silver. I bet these got lost in people's pockets easily, and it's not even the smallest US coin. The smallest US coin is a Type 1 gold dollar, which I do not own. It represents a dollar in gold. This is a half dollar, the largest US coin. Or is it? Up until 1978, the US mints made large silver and clad dollars, which were quite a bit bigger and twice the weight. They were made since the late 1700s with many designs that have changed over the years. But in 1979, they switched to the modern small dollar. But that was not the biggest US coin anyways. The biggest coin that the US made was the $50 Pan Pack, a $50 gold coin, 3.33 times heavier than the clad dollar. This coin is a beast and very expensive today. In 1952, like most years, the US made special proof coins, but that year, the quarter was special because of a small added detail. Let me explain. Coins have mint marks, S if it is San Francisco, D if it is Denver, and MT if it is Philadelphia. And only Philadelphia made proof quarters in the 50s. But in 1952, 1/5 of all proof quarters were struck with an S on the eagle, which was not even the right place for a mint mark to belong, and it was not minted at the San Francisco Mint. The rare variety is called the Superbird, and it is theorized that a mint worker who was a fan of Superman put it there on purpose. This is not a quarter. This is a 5-ounce silver coin with a diameter of 3 inches, worth around $200. It weighs nearly 25 times the weight of a silver quarter, and the US made it to sell to collectors as bullion, but weirdly, the US still made it legal tender and spendable. I doubt any store would take it, as most people do not know about it, and nobody will want to spend this $200 quarter anyways, but it is legal tender. These are the top 5 most expensive US coins of all time. Number 5, the 1861 Double Eagle. graded a mint state 67 out of 70 on a grading scale, sold for $7.2 million. Number 4, the 1804 proof bust dollar in a 68 out of 70, sold for $7.7 million. Number 3, the 1822 half eagle, graded a 50 out of 70, sold for $8.4 million. Number 2, the 1794 flowing hair dollar, graded a special 66 out of 70, sold for $12 million. And number 1, the king of all coins, the 1933 double eagle, graded a 65 out of 70, sold for $18.9 million, $21 million with buyer's fee. In 1883, the US Mint was transitioning from the shield nickel design to the Liberty V nickel design, and this is what the coin looked like. You can see it does not say 5 cents anywhere. Around the time, the US Mint was making similarly sized $5 gold coins, so people gold-plated these new nickels and tried to pass them off as $5 gold coins with a new design, and it worked. The Mint stopped making them after only a few months and added the word cents to the reverse,